What happens when 10 cheap, garage-built drones challenge the largest nuclear power plant in Europe shielded by billions of dollars in Russian defenses? Ukraine answered that question with one of the most daring and precise drone operations of the war. This is the story of how a $400 drone outmaneuvered Russia's most advanced air defense systems, penetrated a nuclear stronghold, and struck at the operational brain of a $5.7 billion facility. At exactly 5 o'clock a.m. in late September 2025, 10 Ukrainian drones were less than 60 seconds from their target. No alarms had sounded. No one expected an attack. Their objective was not the reactors of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the largest in Europe, but something far more strategic. The plant as $50 million training and simulation center. This was not a missile barrage or a massive bombing campaign. It was a swarm of KH-7 drones, each weighing barely 1.5 pounds and carrying a shape-charged warhead just over 3 pounds. At $400 apiece, their cost was almost insignificant. Yet through the live camera feed of the lead drone, the stakes were unmistakable. On the operator screen, a small marker showed the distance to the active reactor core, 984 feet. Close enough to make the mission seem unthinkable. But this was never about triggering a meltdown. It was about precision. Destroying the training center would cripple Russia's ability to safely operate its 6 VVER-1000 reactors at Zaporizhzhia. That simulator was where engineers trained to manage reactor systems and prevent catastrophic incidents. Removing it would not spread radiation across Europe, but it would undermine Russia's control over the plant itself. 9 miles away, inside a concealed bunker near Orikhiv, a Ukrainian operator leaned over an aging laptop, guiding the swarm. His uplink transmitted on a 5.8 GHz frequency-hopping signal, switching channels thousands of times per second. To Russian electronic warfare systems, it appeared like a ghost constantly shifting, impossible to lock onto, nearly impossible to jam. On his tactical display, the target sat inside overlapping rings of defense. A massive red circle marked the reach of a Krasuka-4 electronic warfare system, capable of jamming signals across 186 miles. Nearby, an S-400 Triumph surface-to-air missile system scanned the skies with its powerful radar arrays. On paper, Zaporizhzhia was one of the most heavily defended sites on Earth. Planning for the mission had begun 3 months earlier. Ukraine's 47th Drone Brigade realized the solution would not come from the sky but from the water. The problem was simple. How do you move 10 tiny drones through one of the densest defense networks in the war? You don't fly over it. You smuggle them underneath. At 4:30 a.m., under thick morning fog, a Marichka autonomous underwater vehicle slipped quietly into the Dnipro River from what appeared to be a civilian fishing boat. For 30 minutes, it moved silently beneath the surface, invisible to radar, sonar, and aerial surveillance. At 4:55 a.m., the diversion phase began. 2 modified R-360 Neptune missiles launched near Zaporizhzhia, not toward the plant, but toward a BM-30 Smerch multiple rocket launcher positioned nearby. To civilians, it was just a heavy truck. To Ukrainian planners, it was a lethal threat capable of shredding the drone swarm in seconds. By eliminating it before the main strike, Ukraine removed one of the most dangerous obstacles. As Russian forces scrambled to understand the sudden loss of their launcher, another piece of the operation unfolded inside Enerhodar. A 5-man Ukrainian special operations team embedded in the occupied city for weeks moved into position. Their mission: disable the anti-drone netting surrounding the nuclear facility. Using a handheld jammer, they created a temporary opening just wide enough for the drones to slip through. At precisely 5 a.m., the Marichka surfaced just over 3 miles from the plant. Its hatch opened, and 10 KH-7 drones rose into the air. 8 dropped low, flying at roughly 130 feet and hugging the terrain. 2 climbed higher, reaching 500 feet. Those 2 carried dummy warheads. They were bait. When the S-400 Triumph detected the higher-flying drones, operators reacted immediately. Designed to destroy bombers and cruise missiles, the $200 million system now faced targets weighing barely more than a sparrow. The Krasuka 4 unleashed heavy jamming interference, flooding the airwaves with electronic noise.